John Ensz here from the Inman Museum with another tour of one of the museum's exhibits, this time the cook shack. This interesting vehicle, also called the cook car, followed threshing crews during wheat harvest in the Inman area in the early 20th century. Wheat harvest was a labor-intensive business with many hungry people to feed. This made the cook shack one of the most important pieces of equipment used during harvest. Looking at the side of the building, we can see that the shutters could be lowered to allow a breeze to blow through the building, likely quite hot from the cook stove. The stove was fired with wood or coal, and all cooking was done on it. In the corners of the buildings are metal rings. Ropes were passed through these and tied to stakes in the ground to keep the cook shack upright on a windy Kansas day. Let's go ahead and go inside. Technically, this was a mobile kitchen on wheels that could be moved from farm to farm following the threshing machines. About 20 feet in length, it accommodated a cook stove, storage for food and cooking utensils, and trestle tables that could seat up to 20 men, although sometimes the men did eat outside. The cook was usually a woman, hired to travel with the threshing crew. She was usually assisted by the wife and daughters of the farmer whose wheat was being threshed. There's some evidence that this cook shack was shared by the community and was used by various farmers during the harvest season. Often 3 meals a day were served from the shack, as well as coffee breaks and fospa, the afternoon break where coffee, pastries, or zwieback and bologna were served. The cook's day began early in the morning. Chickens needed to be caught and dressed, bread mixed to rise, and potatoes peeled. Down here you can see the potato bin. This would hold about enough potatoes for maybe 2 days. The hosting farmer supplied the food, although the neighboring farm wives and daughters would bring pies, slaws, and other dishes to complement the meals. Fried chicken was a staple, and in the spring, farm wives took harvest time into account when deciding how many chicks to buy and raise. Other items on the menu included roast beef, fried pork, fried potatoes, stewed tomatoes, steamed turnips, corn, and lots of gravy, as well as bushels and bushels of beans. Dessert was often dried apples, stewed prunes, or dried peaches. Pies and cakes were offered once daily. Quality of food was important, but quantity was paramount. After cooking 3 large meals in addition to fospa, the evening was spent getting food ready for the next day. The cooks would often rise in the morning about 4 a.m. and get to bed around 11 p.m. There was a saying among rural women, "We like to see the threshers come, and we still more like to see them go." Competition between farms was a real thing. Each wife tried to outdo her neighbor in putting on a good meal. One farm wife was more dismayed than gratified to hear from a threshing hand that a neighbor lady had served him so much food he couldn't eat it all. This cook shack was donated to the museum by James Nickel and restored by Dave Balzer. Most of it is original. On the tables and shelves are typical cooking ware, as well as basins that the cooks would set outside with soap and water for the threshing crews to clean up before eating. I have to add, included in this exhibit is a piece of my family history. A bread pan from the Abraham G. Ensz farm. This pan was brought from Russia when they emigrated to Kansas in 1876. It was used in a large outdoor oven built in the Russian style on the farm northwest of Inman. Saturday was baking day, beginning with mixing the bread, making the pies, then filling the oven with straw or corn stalks, which were burned to ash. The ashes were then raked out, and 25 loaves of bread and 12 pies baked with the heat radiating from the oven walls. Great-grandma had 15 children to feed, so this was enough bread and pie to last 1 week till the next Saturday. The pan shown here could hold about 5 loaves of bread. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of the Inman Museum Cook Shack. I've enjoyed sharing it with you. Have a great day, stay safe and well. We'll see you next time.